the next order of business. Somebody, again, who I mentioned earlier, World Mac. This is somebody that I did not feel too confident about early on, even though we were in his top 3 or top 5. He's set to commit sometime this month. But now with the noise coming out, Josiah Davis, safety, 3-star commit, says, look, we want him. We're going after him. Makes me believe, like, look, that's good news. He was there this weekend on a big recruiting weekend there with all these recruits. I'm loving it. Again, Jamari Howard, who's somebody that we were targeting pretty heavily out of Michigan State, cornerback as well, is seeming to be out of the mix now because FSU, who has always been on the radar, is making a strong push for him. And I'm looking at On 3 right now, and Florida State has taken the lead. He is the 15th ranked quarterback, so he is rated higher than World Mac, so that would be a big pickup for them after just landing Charles Lester III, the second ranked quarterback in the country. So that would be a huge pickup. And again, from the noise, we've got some FSU guys and FSU connections. They are not, humble in their way of approaching the situation. It does feel that Jamari Howard has shifted away from us. Again, originally, he was supposed to be here at Grill for the Ville. We felt pretty good about him. Him, Xavier, and LJ McCray, all 3 of them were intended to be at the Ville. None of them ended up being at Grill at the Ville. Mincy went to Miami. McCray went to Georgia, and now Howard to Florida State. The noise is that we feel okay about Mincy going to Miami and McCray about going to Georgia. Nobody's too concerned about it, but anytime you got Kirby in his ear, that's got to concern you a little bit. I don't feel nervous about Mincy going to Miami, but anything can happen. These kids are always changing their decisions. Let me see if anything has changed for Mincy on 3 here since he's been visiting. Still got him at 87. They're still feeling pretty confident on 3 for him to be landing at Florida. So interesting stuff there. I did see where, again, World Mac, I looked at his 247 profile. Will Fong's got a question mark. I think he had a crystal ball prediction at one point, but he's got a question mark. Sonny Ship has him predicted going to Texas. He is from Louisiana. World Mac's a top 13 quarterback, so he is rated higher than Jamari Howard. So that would be a huge improvement for the Florida Gators if we were able to swap out Howard for World Mac. And obviously you're watching his tape here, which we talked about with Charles Lester too. A lot of it's wide receiver play. Not a big deal. I think that tells us that correlates with a good cornerback, somebody with good hands. That's just kind of how it is in high school. So if you guys are wondering why there's a lot of wide receiver highlights, that's just kind of is what it is. Top 4, top 3. Yeah. I can't remember if it was, he came out with top 4, top 3, and I know Auburn was in it. I thought, no, maybe it's Texas and LSU. There's another kid at Auburn. Texas and LSU. And I think I said he was going to be a Texas lock. That was my opinion on that. But look, last intel with him being there, and obviously the Josiah Davis coming out and saying, hey, we want him. Feeling more confident about it. That excites me. And again, with Jamari Howard visiting FSU, you got to think that this has got to be a top target. So Smith just arrived. They're a little early. I don't hate it, Dom. I don't hate it. LSU just got a commit last week for a DB. So, and look, but again, they've got Texas leaning that way, and Texas is definitely going to close strong. They're landing some big dogs. They stole DeAndre Robinson out from under our nose, so they're always going to be a threat that you got to keep in mind. That Texas money ain't no joke. So don't get ahead of ourselves too quickly with Ward on Mac. But you know what we got to do? We got to get the calculator out.